Thanks for joining us again as we continue our study with James Luce and the men's ministry at Glenville Church. Feel free to join us as well on Sunday mornings at 9:30 a.m. We'd love to have you. If you'd like to check out some other teachings here on the YouTube channel for Glenville Teachings, we have Brenda Lane, Bruce Thomas, and several other teachers. So look for some new teachings coming your way and subscribe to our channel. May the Lord bless you and keep you as you continue to grow in His grace.
So we're still continuing our lessons from The Man God Uses by Hery and Tom Blackaby. And today we're going to talk about a little bit about what we talked about last week. And then we're going to follow up with some of the things that we really need to put in perspective, how the world sometimes, through its own reductive philosophies, give credit and credence back to things that are not biblically true. So the example that we talked about last week is Job and other men of the Bible that are the strong, I don't want to say perfect role models, but the role models that are role model of role models. Joseph, not Jesus' dad, but Joseph, coat of many colors. Job, Jesus. One of the things that you can see with all of them is that they don't give Satan any credit whatsoever, or any power. They don't ever even mention Satan. It's, what's God done here and why? How is He helping me with this? What is my growth from this? And the reality is in the modern day, it's all, well, Satan's attacking you, and Satan's doing this to you. No, you're lazy, you don't fight the impulse, and you don't stop yourself. You're an easy target. Satan will, the demons will attack you if they need to. But why do they need to? If you're an easy target.
Yeah, and there's like a whole line of, supposed counseling that goes around nowadays where it's like, they want to blame every little thing on, like you talked about, and it's just a bunch of like self-help.
Yeah, it's self-help. And there's, if you go back and look at this, there's really no such thing as self-help.
Right. You're a worthless person without Christ.
You start with God on everything, and everything trickles down from that. Not, I'm going to work on this and get right with God, and then I'll have a relationship with God. No. Have a relationship with God, and He will make you right with Him.
Right.
And we work from the other side. Karen and I, for years, would have a pretty standard conversation, argument. This is my wife, Karen. And it was, well, I've got to get into this because I can't can't focus back on. You're saved right now, always. Yep. You're good. Your relationship with God is good right now. God doesn't know any difference between you yesterday and today.
Yeah.
Because you were saved yesterday and saved today. You're covered by Jesus.
Yep.
Go from there forward. Mm-hmm. Not, I got to get right. No, you're right now. Yeah. Just like you were when you were fresh and new as a Christian. So don't, I got to stop drinking. No, stop drinking. There's a difference between those things. You stop drinking right now and move forward.
Well, and like we were talking about, I grew up in a really like legalistic school where it was like, it was a Christian school, so to speak, but it was all about behavior modification. And like every time you did something wrong, it's, you need to confess and get right with God, and you need to stop doing all those little things. And it's like, you need to, get a heart check, not just a behavior modification check,
So let's turn over to Deuteronomy 10.
Old school.
Going old school.
That's
Deuteronomy.
This one. We're in sync, brother. You say 10?
10. Yep. And we're going to, let's see, it's actually going to be not straight at 10, it's going to be at 12. So, start there at 10, 12, Rick. 10, 12? Yep.
And now, Israel, what does the Lord your God ask of you but to fear the Lord your God, to walk in obedience to Him, to love Him, to serve the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul, and to observe the Lord's commands and decrees that I am giving you today for your own good? To the Lord your God belong the heavens, even the highest heavens, the earth and everything in it. Yet the Lord set His affection on your ancestors and loved them, and He chose you, their descendants, above all the nations, as it is today. Circumcise your hearts, therefore, and do not be stiff-necked any longer.
Okay, let's just stop right there. So there's some great things in there that are of simple. You can just pass by these so quickly. Okay, so when you're talking about God choosing you,
Like predestination, or
that, but also the concept of you get to pick who you love, and God doesn't break His contracts, and He's picked to love you, and He's picked to correct you and change you and help you. You turn to Him. You've asked Him to be the Lord of your life. Now, what does it mean to fear Him? Right? But we don't have a good definition of that for us. But if I was doing something wrong, I knew my dad was going to get all over me.
Yep.
And if I knew it was wrong, 20 years later, I look back and go, Dad was correcting me for the right reasons.
Yeah.
Dad loved the heck out of me. He wanted me not to end up in jail.
Yep.
How do we have a hard time, well, New Testament Christians saying, I can't, fearing God, He's a loving, but fearing God, it's so hard to, no, it's not. It's really not. I want the best thing in the world for you. You need to be afraid of what I'm going to send your way to help you be on the right path. Job is a good example of how much we should fear it. And Job got it. Job said, God has done this to me. You know, naked I came from the womb, naked I return. Glory be to God. Right? He got it. We don't get it. We're like, you don't need to be afraid of God.
I can't tell you how many times I've prayed for something, and then I think after my prayer, I'm like, I hope He doesn't teach me the hard way.
That's the reality.
Let me just learn this the easy way.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Please. And there's a lot of easy way moments when you look through the Bible of examples that He gives us of a hard way, that right before He's doing the easy way. You see all these easy ways to give us that reality of, I really do try to give you the easy way.
Yeah.
And you just miss it.
Yeah.
Just pop your head up, look around, and maybe I'm already helping you with that. You know? And sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's you got the best life in the world. And God says, you know, it's time to have you grow with me. Let's say to Satan, which is, you know, Job, perfect example. Hey, have you noticed my friend Job? It was him showing him off. Seriously. I wonder what a better thing in the world to have happen to you than God go, I'm going to use you as an example for all of time, for one of the toughest, coolest guys ever. Go ahead.
I like, we went over that, I think it was last week, we read a little bit at the beginning of Job, and I never really noticed how directly God led Satan to Job. Like the moment Satan shows up, he's like, what you been up to? Oh, yeah, cruising all over the world, huh? Yeah? Oh, what you see out there? Hey, have you seen Job?
People miss it.
Like, it's not like Satan's like, you got this guy Job, and I don't like him. You should let me do stuff. Like, that's kind of how
you have it in your head.
You have it in your head. But God's up there. It's like, hey, have you seen Job? Have you seen that guy? Job. Yeah.
and the cool thing is when you go back and read that, like, okay, Satan literally had to stand there and get permission from God to do what he did.
Yeah,
like
totally.
It's like there's this supernatural conversation going on in the heavens, and he's just like, hey, what about this? And what about this? And I'm going to do this, and I'm going to let this happen.
But you can't let that happen. Okay, but you can let that happen. But you can't let that happen.
And then his wife is a total, skip off, and then his friends are not really friends, and like the whole time is like, I'm not gonna curse God, I'm not gonna just want to die, I'm gonna stick
So I just realized I forgot that you were at a different church at the time we did the Job study. You were in the Job study, so we really got into this, and we did a lot of, and Bruce talked about it last week or 2 weeks ago with the friends that just come and sit with you for 7 days in silence in your worst time. Nobody does that. Everybody walks at you and tries to give you a verse or something. Just sit with me. Just be my buddy. They were great. We still judge them harshly. When we read about them, we're like, they were stupid. You know what? For 7 days, they were the best friends ever. They got in the dirt with him and cried with him. They're better than any friend I've ever had. My friends don't show up and shut up and just be with you, right? And
do I not get back out that way?
nope. It automatically locks.
My bad.
No, you're good. You're good. Yeah, go right
this way.
Yeah, just switch and go all the way around.
All right.
But when we did the Job study, we really got into how it's an example of God going, Job, look at him. He is not going to fail me. Can you imagine being that guy? That God goes, you want to see my A player, my best player on this team? I'm going to put him out there and show you what he can do. And it's like, how horrible is that? That's a horrible story. You're reading it going, that's a horrible story. But at the end of it, Job got everything back double. He's back in the relationship he had. He's the guy that God showed off.
Basically, the way I look at it is that God actually used Satan
Absolutely
to make him stronger.
Yeah. And to
And
prove to everybody.
Satan must have been like,
yeah. And totally.
you got me again.
Yeah, you got me. Well, and then the other side of that is if you're self. Hey, I want to be bigger than I am already. You want to have a feeling that you're doing something good for other people, right? At the end of that story, Job is the example for everybody going through suffering.
Yeah.
For all time. Every cancer victim reads Job. Look at what God used me for, the ministry that God used me for. That's an awesome thing. Never gave credit to Satan whatsoever. We know that there should be no credit given to Satan whatsoever because of the beginning of the story. Have you noticed my boy? Check him out. Yeah, you have my permission to do this. Satan wouldn't even have thought about it because God had protected him completely. And so when we think about that, we should be thinking about Job feared God. He didn't think about Satan. Joseph, how can I sin against God? When he's talking about lust and sleeping with this boss's wife, he didn't think, how can I hurt my friend? My boss is, I'm going to lose my job. No, none of that. It's, how can I sin against God? I'm afraid of him. And if you're afraid of him first, it counts for something. But we lose sight of that fear because it's like, well, New Testament, Jesus is love, love, love. Yeah, he's love. He will correct you. He's righteous. That's right. I love the crap out of my kids.
Here's the thing people forget, though. Like, even Jesus in the New Testament was like, hey, Pharisees, you brood of vipers, you're of the devil, like, you're going to hell. Like, and Jesus spoke more about hell than he did about anything else. Like James said, yes, he's a loving God, but he's also the one that can destroy your soul and your body in hell and holds the keys to heaven and earth, and all authority has been given to him. So,
let's get to the other verse first, because we got to walk out the door, literally, and I at least want to have the second one in here.
Well, I got to go now because I have to get a place to sit.
Yep. So let's go to James 4, and Jeff, if you could do James 4 for me, and verse 7.
4, verse 7. Submit yourselves, therefore, under God. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you.
Keep going.
Draw nigh to God, and he will draw nigh to you. Cleanse your hands, ye sinners, and purify your hearts, ye double-minded. Be afflicted and mourn and weep. Let your laughter be turned to mourning, and your joy to heaviness. Humble yourselves in the sight of the Lord, and he shall lift you up.
Okay. That doesn't sound like New Testament, modern New Testament.
Yeah.
Everybody's about happy. No. Submit. Bow down. Be humble. Mourn and weep on purpose. When's the last time Pastor Al got up there and said, mourn and weep today. I want everybody in here to be crying. Everybody cry. So, because we're very much in that, how to be good and happy and God give us fulfillment. Not pray for God to break you down. Oh, yeah. Sometimes you ask that, on purpose. God, I got a problem here. Change me. Just
humble me just a little bit.
Just a little bit. I don't want much, just a little bit. And then the other thing here is the beginning. The very first part of this. Therefore submit to God, resist the devil, and he will flee from you. It's a word, flee. Just resist. It doesn't say struggle for weeks resisting the devil and blah, blah. No, it's resist, and it's done. There's not I have to struggle with this forever, and Satan's there, and he's just going to be pounding me. No. You have the Holy Spirit. Bye. That's it. That's all it takes. But we like to do the whole, well, Satan really works on me. Yeah, it's because you were at the strip club that Satan was really working.
We allow it.
Yeah. Our flesh is weak. Our flesh does. So, all right. So that was a quick study. We got 2 verses in. Lots of great sharing with each other about our struggles and stuff that's going on. But hopefully we'll see you back next week, I hope. And we'll stop recording.
Thanks for joining us again as we continue our study with James Luce and the men's ministry at Glenville Church. Feel free to join us as well on Sunday mornings at 9:30 a.m. We'd love to have you. If you'd like to check out some other teachings here on the YouTube channel for Glenville Teachings, we have Brenda Lane, Bruce Thomas, and several other teachers. So look for some new teachings coming your way and subscribe to our channel. May the Lord bless you and keep you as you continue to grow in His grace.